How to reset your nervous system for free, no supplements and no expensive tools needed. As a naturopathic doctor who's worked with thousands of patients and helped them reset and regulate their nervous system, I can tell you firsthand that some of the best things you can do for your nervous system cost absolutely nothing. And yet, most people are out here spending hundreds of dollars on supplements and gadgets and tools while completely overlooking the free things that are going to actually move the needle. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what those things are, and some of them are so simple that you're gonna be like, why has nobody told me this sooner? Number one, this is the most overlooked one, is looking at your internal expectations and how you've structured your day and life. Like, nobody ever takes a step back and asks themselves, why am I always dysregulated? What about my schedule? What about my life? What about the expectations that I've set of myself are causing me to get into that dysregulated state over and over and over and over again? Because let me tell you, those internal expectations, and usually it's those unrealistic expectations and standards that we set of ourselves that then lead us into being in this dysregulated state all the time. Some of the most dysregulated people I know have schedules that are packed back to back to back to back with absolutely no time and room for rest or to restore their nervous system state. And then they're wondering, why am I so dysregulated? Why am I so stressed out? Why can I never relax? And it's because of this, because your life doesn't reflect any of that. And any time then you try to give yourself that, you feel guilty, it feels wrong, it feels uncomfortable because you just haven't practiced it enough. I want you to get honest and real with yourself. What are the expectations that you have set up for yourself? So for me, for example, when I was my most dysregulated, I would have a list of 20 things that I felt like I needed to do in a day, but I only really would have time and space to do like 3 of them. And every single day I would write that list of 20 again, only get 3 to 4 done, and then feel like I was a complete failure, and then feel like I was living in the state of internal urgency where I felt like I needed to be fast in everything that I'm doing because I just had so many things that I needed to get done. Versus now, my life looks totally different now. Now, I'm realistic about what I can actually accomplish in a day. My to-do list is no longer filled with 20 different things. It's more filled with like 5 things that I realistically know I can actually accomplish. And I feel so much better because now I have room for breaks. I'm not rushing through my tasks, and I actually feel like I'm enjoying the process of building my business. I'm enjoying life, and I'm not waiting for some achievement or milestone to get to in order to give myself permission to enjoy it. Now I'm just doing it on a day-to-day basis versus before. I was living under so much stress. I was constantly dysregulated, and I felt like I was not deserving of any sort of rest or break until I felt like I had, achieved X amount of things, and then that achievement would never come. Because why? Because the bar would just keep getting higher and higher and higher and higher. And I know that you can relate to this too. This is why it just feels like it's never enough, because you just keep raising your bar over and over and over again. Reset these expectations for yourself. I know, for example, when I work with a lot of moms in my practice, they'll be like, I cannot go to sleep until my kitchen is cleaned or the dishes are done or the laundry is done. And I'm like, nobody's gonna give you a trophy at the end of your life being like, congratulations, you just did all of these things. Nobody's gonna give you that. And so we need to be more realistic with our expectations that we have of ourselves. And that doesn't mean you need to aim low, but you just need to be more realistic with the actual time that you have. So for example, clinic days, when I'm in the clinic seeing patients for 6-7 hours a day, I'm not going to do a lot of other stuff because I have to prep for the patients, I have to send them their treatment plan, and I have to fill out their charts, and not much else is going to get done. And before, what I would do is I would force myself to try to get other things done, but I would just never have the time for that. So it's about being realistic about how much time you actually have in a day and then setting your expectations accordingly. Next, learning how to slow down is so important. You can do all the tapping, the breathing, but if you're constantly living life at 2x speed, your nervous system is always going to be dysregulated. So learning how to walk slower, talk slower, that's something I still need to work on. But in these videos, I just get so passionate about this topic that my voice just raises and I just talk faster. But that's something I definitely need to work on. But just moving overall at a slower pace, I have to constantly catch myself during the day to still slow down. I think it can be the hardest ones because, again, we just live in this society and world where it's like we need to get to the next thing, we need to be faster, we need to do more. And it just leads us to rushing life. And it's just like, what are we rushing towards? What are you rushing towards? All that's waiting for you at the end of life is death. And the more that you rush, the closer you get to death. So what are you rushing for? You want to actually be in this moment as much as possible and be present as much as possible and go slow in this moment. That's how you make life be slower. I always hear as we get older that life just feels like it's going by faster and faster and faster. And that's because nobody's present anymore. The more present you are, the slower that life will go by. Slowness is one of the most nourishing things that you can give your nervous system state. And an easy way to practice this is choose an activity that you do during the day and just go 10% slower. So right before recording these videos, I went on a walk outside and I actively tried to go slower. You don't have to go at snail speed all day long. Instead, what you want to do is you want to choose one or two things. Maybe it's washing the dishes, or maybe it's showering or brushing your teeth. Just choose a few things that you're going to really intentionally practice in a slow way. And the rest of the day, by all means, go fast if you need to. Next, it's so important to nourish yourself consistently, especially if you're someone who is in that dysregulated state. I oftentimes find that my patients who are the most dysregulated also tend to be fasting. They skip either breakfast or lunch. And we need to make sure that when we're dysregulated, that we're giving our body constant fuel, because constant fuel equals stable blood sugar levels. If your blood sugar level is spiking up and down all day long, that is going to significantly affect your nervous system's ability to regulate yourself. And I'm not saying that you can't ever fast, but while you're working on healing your nervous system state, while you're working on getting out of this dysregulated place, it's really important that you nourish yourself consistently, and of course with the right foods. Like if you're nourishing yourself with a bag of Doritos, you're not really supporting your nervous system state. So making sure you're getting enough of the proteins, healthy fats, and veggies on your plate becomes very, very important. And I know that sometimes getting fresh vegetables can be expensive, they can go to waste. Get frozen vegetables, they have the same nutrient content as fresh vegetables. But please don't underestimate the importance of nourishing your body. Your nervous system lives in your body. And so if you're not giving your body the right nutrients it needs to function, your nervous system is directly going to suffer as a result of that. Next, another really easy way to support your nervous system state is through gentle movement. So 3 of my most favorite forms of gentle movement to do. Number 1, super easy walking. Super easy, super free, get outside, go on a walk. And I think it's really great when especially we're able to get outside and go on the walks, because we know how important it is for our brain and body to connect with nature, to feel that fresh air, just to be outside. So many of us are just cooped up inside all day long. And another one of my favorite gentle forms of movement is yoga. Absolutely love yoga. One of my favorite yoga YouTubers is Yoga with Cassandra, and I love just doing her yoga videos. I'll do it either after a workout or when I'm winding down at the end of the night, and I really just make sure it's like slow and restorative type yoga. So yin yoga or restorative yoga are 2 of the best ones when it comes to just really slowing down, because if you do some of the other ones like vinyasa or hatha, then you got like a really intense workout. Once I went to I think it was a vinyasa yoga class, and I thought it was going to be so relaxing. It was one of my first yoga classes ever, and I got my booty whooped. Okay, I came out of the class being like, what was that? Like, I thought I was just gonna relax and be so calm, and it was like one of the hardest hardest workouts, honestly, overall that I've just done. And I was just shook. I was shook after that class. And so now I always double, triple check to make sure I booked myself in the right yoga class. And so yin and restorative is essentially what you want. And it's so slow and nourishing. And what I really love about yoga is just that it combines the breath work with the body movement. So if you're someone who, lives in a lot of anxiety, it's really great to combine it with that movement, the breath work, because the movement really helps give that anxiety a place to go. And another really great form of gentle movement, a lot of people don't know about this, but Qigong. Qigong is a really amazing form of gentle movement. It comes from traditional Chinese medicine. Qigong almost has like a similar philosophy to yoga. It's where you're doing a lot of these gentle movements with breath work. And so an example would be, right, like as you're raising your arms, you take a breath in and then breath out. And then in again, and then breath out. It's almost you're pushing the air down. And that's just a very small example of a type of movement that you do with Qigong. But I would recommend you try it out. There's tons of Qigong videos that you can do on YouTube. There weren't that many a few years ago, but I recently went and checked it out. And I was like, this is amazing. There's so many practitioners coming out showing these Qigong videos. And it's such a really simple, restorative way just to reset yourself during the day and to also get that movement. And so again, completely free. I also want to emphasize there, you don't need an expensive gym membership, not with YouTube around, okay? There's so many workout videos online. Get outside, go for a walk. You don't need those expensive gym memberships. Another simple way that you can reset and support your nervous system state is by prioritizing sleep. If you are super serious about healing your nervous system, sleep has to be a must. And honestly, you need more sleep than you think you do, especially when you're using it to restore your nervous system state. We know that when you get a deep quality sleep, like your entire body resets itself. Your entire body flushes out all of the toxins and everything it doesn't need anymore when you're in that resting state. So really prioritizing the sleep by making sure you're putting away technology an hour before bed. You're doing something to really unwind and turn on that parasympathetic nervous system state so that your body can get into that relaxed state and fall asleep well and have that deep, restful, restorative state of sleep. And then when you wake up in the morning, really exposing yourself to a lot of bright light, sunlight if you can get it, or a 10,000 lux bright light to really support that waking part of the sleeping and waking cycle. So really simple, easy way to support your nervous system state. But honestly, the better that your quality of sleep is going to be, the better that your nervous system will be at the end of the day. And I would really encourage you to try to have those consistent sleeping and waking hours. You don't have to do it every single day of the week, but most days of the week than not, because your nervous system thrives on consistency. So when you can consistently give your nervous system those same times you go to bed and you wake up, it's really restorative and nourishing for your nervous system state. So try to stick to that as much as possible. Next is trying to reduce digital stimulation. Again, very free, just requires a bit of self-control, which can be the hardest part. But I want you to understand that your phone is not nourishing and supportive for your nervous system state. Your laptop isn't either, and neither is your television. And what do most of us do when we get a free second? We pick up our phones. That's literally the first thing that we do. And it is so stimulating for your nervous system because anytime your brain needs to process anything, and when you look at a phone screen, it's so many bright lights and notifications and so many things going on at once. It's just more things that your brain needs to process. And the more that your brain needs to process, the more turned on your nervous system state is going to be. So you need to create healthy boundaries and find different ways to take a break. What I'll do is I'll keep my Kindle beside me. So instead of scrolling on my phone, I'll read a few pages of a book. Sometimes I'll just sit there and just not do anything. Sometimes I'll do breathing exercises. Sometimes I'll get up and go for a walk instead. And you need to find some of these alternatives because these things are actually going to be so much better for you than going on your phone. You need to start looking at your phone differently. You need to start seeing it as a device that's stimulating you. You need to see it as a device that's actually hurting your nervous system more than supporting it. And the more that you go on your phone and on these devices, the more that you're training your nervous system to crave these easy dopamine hits. So yes, initially, it's going to feel pretty challenging to try to take these breaks from your phone because you're just so used to this habit. But just like anything else, the more that you practice not using your phone, the easier it's going to get over time. So just stick with it as much as possible, no matter how challenging it seems, because then you're rewiring your nervous system to be like, okay, we don't need to pick up our phone every second and we're going to be safe and just fine. And the last super simple and easy way to reset your nervous system state without paying for anything is to get outside and ground yourself. We're not meant to be inside all day long every single day. Okay, I don't know about you, but if I spend more than 24 hours in my home, I feel like I'm going a little cuckoo and I will need to get outside. And I live in Canada, so the winters get very wintry and cold. And you just have to suck it up is all I'm going to say about that, because everybody complains about the winter, but I get outside and I run in negative 30-degree weather because I just know how important it is for us to get outside, to get near nature and be around that. So dress warm. You can do that. Dress warm and get outside. You will be just fine. And you know what? And you're going to feel so much better because you went outside. And also, it's a completely free tool that you can use to reset your nervous system state. So resetting your nervous system state doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't require a lot. It's honestly these simple strategies done over a period of time that are going to make the biggest change and shift for you.